Hey everyone, I have a message here for someone. First and foremost, thanks for showing up for yourself, as well as clicking on this video. Obviously, only take what resonates. This one's pretty straightforward. When I was connecting, I immediately felt a big relief, a big sigh. I had, like, physically sighed. What came through is the worst is done, a hardship was had, the only way is up. At that point, Anubis presented himself. It was very comforting at that time. Like, I was just very at peace and comfort. And it was, calm at that point. And I kind of said, I need more. And I heard this is enough for now. And this falls, in line with their message as well. And then the last thing that came through is change is inevitable for the good. Did pull some cards on this one. Our first card out falls in line with hardship, Five of Pentacles. Whatever this may have looked like, whether a loss of something, financial, illness, friendship, or relationship, which no matter, any of those, sure, it's affecting our external, but internally, it takes a heavy toll as well. Our next card was the Empress, nurturing soul. This could be, birth, abundance, patience, and growth. So obviously after like a large loss like that, we obviously want it back, whatever it may be. And we want to fill that void with something. But depending on what it is, sometimes we physically can't, as fast as we may want. And that's where patience comes in. There's a time when we're in such a low place like that, filling it is obviously going to make us feel better or distract us from the pain that we might be experiencing. And that's kind of a control mechanism. Obviously, we're trying to make it feel better, but we can also be destructive in that time as well. That's where patience really comes in to key to take our time. Otherwise, we may repeat a cycle or just go back to the old when this was actually, a destruction that had to take place to take us to a new place that's better for us, more fulfilling. Our next card was Three of Cups reversed. So maybe this really did have something to do with a social experience, whether friendship, relationship, romantic or platonic, family, work related, or this could be with ourself. Did whatever took place, or if it was just all mental that we just totally disconnected from ourselves. Maybe we were in a bad situation and that led to us disconnecting from ourselves, that we don't know who we are anymore, and we're very lost and lonely, isolated, that we're heading into a deep rest, or we are in a deep rest, or we're coming out of it. Or if this was, physically, as the card depicts, camaraderie. Did we lose a relationship? Or did we come to a truth of that relationship that, what was portrayed is not true? I then asked, for a card to move forward, and I got this card, and to be honest, I didn't know it was in the deck. No writing on it. I looked at the deck box, see if there was any, wild card or anything, and nothing was mentioned. And, when I look at this, I look at alignment, all of our chakras, energies flowing through. I also look at it as a very strong connection of some type, spiritual. Hardships are going to be different for everyone, and depending on what it is, and how that affects everything. You look at illness, you can't provide for yourself, financially. And then you can't care for yourself. So that affects everything else around you. If you lost a job, you can't provide for everything else, or family, or a partner. You lost your house, you have nowhere to live. All these things they all connect. And anytime I've been in a situation like that, it's easy to say, yeah, you want to get out of here. You want to out yourself because it's just too much. And it's not that it's the physical, it's also taking a toll internal. You could also look at it as uh, things people are saying to you that are, thoughts in your head that aren't true, but you're identifying with them, or like they're saying you're a person that you're not. And, now that's taking a toll and you're starting to identify with it. These are all things internal, which obviously run the system externally, and project outwards, mirroring back. These thoughts don't even have to be coming from a person. They could be coming from an energy. And I know not everybody believes that, but, I've experienced it where these things are projected into us. And if we identify with that, obviously we're going to have an image of ourselves then, whether self-confidence or self-esteem, self-image, excuse me. And that can lead you down a road that is completely false, but destroy you at the same time. These energies, I was having this little bit of an energy came in yesterday, and I was having a little bit of an argument with it. And it was, magic isn't real. And I strongly feel it has to be real to an extent because, okay, if I can hold my hands out here and I have energy flowing out of it that is leaving, and I could be using this for good, like Reiki or something, okay, I can feel it right now. It's leaving right now. That's for good. You're telling me people can't use that for bad. Of course they can. Everybody has to turn something good into bad. It's no different than these thoughts that aren't ours. And I've dealt with a lot of that. I wasn't aware of it for most of my life. That you were picking up on so much else around you and you were owning it, and it's not yours. I'm not saying that this message is just for that situation, but if somebody ever experienced that, like your whole life, you thought that you were this and you're not, or you felt this way and you don't feel that, then there's no reason to feel this way, but you felt this way and it's not yours. You picked it up. And that was, like I said, you're clueless most of your life. And then you'd have to come to a place of discernment that, does this validate, oh, I was fine, I was happy, and then all of a sudden I feel like fucking crying. No, that's a little weird. Is something trying to release? Maybe, but what does this experience I just have relate to that? Absolutely nothing. Did I just see somebody that looks sad? Maybe, paying attention to these things. Our last card was Nine of Wands, fortitude, courage in pain, wounded warrior. Again, pushing through these difficulties. Pretty sure I said it, but I wouldn't have made it without my connection with spirit. I wouldn't have. That connection, that comfort, that energy that you can actually feel, whether it's however you want to subscribe to a guardian angel, guides, deities, God, source, any type of help that you actually feel that comes in, or grants you signs that pushes you through to, that reassurance that, okay, somebody is hearing me, somebody is looking out for me, and somebody is helping me. As horrible as this experience may be right now, I can see that someone's watching and sees what I'm experiencing, and then you get those little experiences that are a step up or a step forward that come out of nowhere. And it's like, okay, they had it all figured out. I'm gonna be okay. That's what got me through anything. Obviously, different parts of your life may not have looked at it all the time or saw it because we weren't looking for it, or we just were closed off to the idea that this is possible, that someone is looking over us and helping us. Forget where I was going with this. Sorry, lost my train of thought. Courage in pain, wounded warrior. This is pushing through no matter what. This is having the strength and resilience to keep going even when things look dim or uneventful in the future. You just keep showing up. You're going to get through this. You know it internally. Of course, we want it to be easier. There's really no sign of relief, but we keep showing up. And, as Anubis came through before with being very comforting during this transition, and then hearing the only way is up. So I wish you the best with this. Hang in there and take care.